For years, creators have been told that the best way to monetize their knowledge is to create more content. Build a longer course, add another module, create a bigger workbook, include more bonuses. But information is everywhere now. Your customers are not necessarily looking for more information, they might just be looking for something useful. They want a faster way to make a decision, solve a problem, create a plan, or know what to do next. That's where microsoftware creates a new opportunity. Instead of simply giving your customers more information, you can give them a tool that helps them use your knowledge quicker, faster, and more efficiently. Traditional digital products usually stop after delivering the information. Maybe you give the customer a video, a PDF, a workbook, or an audio lesson, but then the customer still has to interpret everything. They have to decide what applies to them, personalize the recommendations, complete the exercises, and turn everything into action. That really creates an implementation gap. We're all familiar with it. You download it, maybe you never do it, so your customer may understand your content, but they're going to still feel unsure about what to do next. Microsoftware helps bridge that gap. It applies your expertise to the customer's specific inputs and helps them move closer to the actual outcome. Customers may purchase a course, but the course itself is rarely what they truly want. They want the answer. They want the answer at the end. They want to know what to do next. They want to feel confident about a decision. A blogger may not really want another lesson about content strategy. They know and what they should do, but they want to know, what should I publish next? A parent may not want to read a 60-page guide. They want practical ideas that fit their child and their situation. So your content is valuable, but the value becomes much more clear when it helps someone reach that specific result. Courses in PDF teach customers how to reach an answer. Microsoftware helps that customer actually reach that answer. With a traditional product, the customer must translate general concepts into their own specific situation. But with a tool, they can answer a few targeted questions and receive a relevant result. Traditional products are often organized around content categories, chapters, modules, the list goes on, or whatever you want to call it. But Microsoftware is organized around one clearly defined problem. The expertise behind the product hasn't changed. It's just that the delivery has changed. So let's talk more about Microsoftware. It's a small, focused application designed to solve one clearly defined problem. It doesn't need to be a massive platform. It doesn't need hundreds of features. It's not your entire course squeezed into an app. Maybe it's a calculator, an interactive assessment, a recommendation engine, a personalized planner, a guided audit, a decision tree. The key here is focus. The user provides a few pieces of information, your expertise is applied, and the tool produces a useful output. Sounds pretty amazing, right? Useful tools usually make one or more important shifts. First, they move the customer from searching to selecting, and instead of reading through 10 possible strategies, the tool recommends maybe the two that appear most relevant. Second, it's going to move the customer from generic information to a personalized result. Instead of giving everyone the same pages, the output changes based on that customer's exact needs. Third, it's going to move the customer from learning to doing. Instead of explaining what a strong plan should include, the tool generates the first draft of the plan. That's what creates utility, usefulness, and productivity. Imagine you're teaching someone how to price a digital product. The PDF approach might explain several pricing models, includes formulas, provides worksheets, and lists questions that customers should consider. That information might be excellent, but the customer still has to work through it and make that final decision. A tool approach asks a few targeted questions such as, what are you selling, who's it for, and how will it be delivered? And then that tool generates a suggested pricing range and recommends an appropriate model. Both products contain the same expertise, only one removes most of the friction. Now, don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean every course should disappear. Some outcomes require education, practice, feedback, discussion, and a real deep understanding of the underlying principles. A tool cannot replace every meaningful learning experience, but the strongest offer may combine both. The course can teach the principles, and the microsoftware helps the customer apply those principles. It can replace worksheets that people frequently skip, create personalized plans after a lesson, or turn a framework into a guided decision. The goal is not always replacement, the goal is really better implementation. So, creators like myself often assume that more content creates more value, but more content sometimes can also create more customer effort. Every additional lesson, bonus, and resource gives the customer more decisions to make. What should they read? What applies to them? What can I ignore? Where should I begin? This can increase friction and overwhelm. A focus tool may contain less visible content, but it can produce one meaningful result, such as a plan, an answer, a recommendation, or a first draft. The value is not determined by how much information you include. The value is determined by how effectively the customer can move forward. So, micro software can support your business in several different ways. It can be sold as a standalone product. It can become a high value upgrade to an existing course. It can be included in a membership to increase value or retention. It can be licensed to professionals, organizations, or teams. That's what I do with some of my micro software tools. I license them to educators and other professionals so they can use them with the students that they work with. It can be used really as a great lead generator. So that's another example. So just think of it this way: courses are often sold to access information, but Microsoftware is sold to access a function, a goal, an outcome. Customers can return to the tool each time they need to solve the same problem again. So, to find your best Microsoftware opportunity, start with something you've already created. Maybe open an existing course, workbook, PDF, framework, or resource, and look for places where your customer has to make a complicated decision. Notice where they need to personalize their information. Identify any processes that they have to repeat over and over. And pay attention to the places where they become overwhelmed or they hesitate or stop. These friction points are not necessarily weaknesses in your content, it's just they might be the best software opportunities. Each one can show you where a focus tool could help the customer continue. Now, I'm not suggesting you convert everything you've created into software. Trust me, that's just not going to work. And you've created a whole new problem for yourself. As a solopreneur myself, we have to stay very focused or we start chasing shiny objects again. I'm guilty of them daily. So we're going to work on choosing one problem. This is hard if you're a solopreneur, but you're going to work on choosing one problem your customers face. You're going to ask for a few useful inputs. You're going to apply your expertise and produce one clear output. A content course could become a recommendation tool. A meal planning PDF could become a personalized weekly planner. A static workbook could become an interactive assessment, maybe. Perhaps a coaching framework could become a customized action plan generator or a 30-day goal plan. A checklist could become a guided audit. You get it. So you're going to start small with one problem, one process, one useful result. Your greatest advantage is understanding the customer. You know the questions they ask repeatedly. You know where they hesitate. You know which worksheets they're going to download and that they're going to ignore. You know the decisions they struggle to make. That knowledge is the foundation of a valuable tool. The technology is simply the delivery mechanism. Your framework, experience, and understanding of the problem is what creates the transformation for your customers. Listen, I get it. I understand how difficult it is to stay on top of everything as a solopreneur, all those things I just mentioned. I'm actually a physical therapist. I run several e-commerce websites. The technology department is me. Human resources is me. The content creator is me. The product developer is me. Like you, I'm constantly trying to keep every part of that business moving. But I have years of experience creating and selling digital products. I've been doing this since 2007, and I can use that experience to help you turn your knowledge into a useful interactive tool. Let me take one thing off your plate while you continue managing everything else. You can start by trying the free Idea to Income tool at Action Lab HQ. Explore the possibilities for turning your existing knowledge, framework, course, or digital product into Microsoftware. Your knowledge, we build it, you own it. See you next time.